Hello, guys. It's another episode of Sports 101 here on YouTube, and there's so much to discuss today. There are lots of action, especially in the world of football. It's getting heated in all the leagues. There were Carabao Cup games. In France, there were French league games. In Italy, there were games. In Germany, there were games. And this weekend, there are also some interesting matches coming up. And so we will be looking at some of the post-match analysis of some of the games that happened on Tuesday, on Wednesday, as well as previewing a lot of the games that will be happening this weekend in the top leagues across Europe. And so stick and stay with us. We'll take a quick turnaround. When we come back, Vinícius Jr. is in the news as well as, on the back of what happened in the Clásico. He's rendering an apology to his Real Madrid teammates. And so there are also some stories about some betting issues in the Turkish league. So it's going to be a packed show here today. I have Kofi with me, and then the other guys will be joining us subsequently. And so let's take a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll get right into the conversation. Okay, welcome back, guys. It's Sports 101 here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, you do well to subscribe, like the videos, comment. Let's know what you think in the comment section on every conversation that we have, every topic that we discuss. Remember, we are also on Facebook on Sports 101. So Sports 101 on Facebook. We are on TikTok, and so you can see our videos as well on TikTok, Sports 101. And so we are not just on YouTube, but do well to follow us on all social media platforms. Remember, Sports 101 on Thursdays is brought to you by Malibu. Remember, Malibu is Thursdays, and Thursdays is Malibu. Let me tell you about Malibu, what they have for you on Thursdays. It's a buy one, get one free, where it's a happy hour on Thursdays at Malibu, where you buy one mineral water, beer, and you get one free. It's a lovely ambience there at Malibu. I'll tell you more about it as the show goes on. We are also supported by Nkunim phones around the Bank of Africa, Takrady Market Circle. And so as we get on in the conversation, I'll tell you more about Nkunim phones, where you get your premium phones, your mid-range phones, your low-budget phones, phone accessories, everything that you need when it comes to phone and technology. Your best bet is Nkunim phones at Takrady Market Circle. When you go there, just tell them that you heard about them from Sports 101, and you get a really, really, really good deal there at Nkunim phones. The Black Queens have made it to the Women's AFCON to be hosted in Morocco again after beating Egypt by 4-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium. Remember, it was a 3-0 win away in Egypt in that first leg, and another 4-0 win after a little bit of the controversy that happened just before the game as a result of unpaid bonuses and all of that. So they are ready to join the likes of Nigeria, Senegal, Morocco, Algeria, even Cape Verde are making their first appearance at the Women's AFCON, just like their male counterparts are doing something really, really good when it comes to African football. Tanzania is also there at the Women's AFCON. Good old South Africa is there as well. Zambia are also there. And so it promises to be another exciting edition of the Women's AFCON. And this edition sees the 4 teams that make it to the semi-final automatically qualifying for the World Cup. So there's a lot at stake in this Women's AFCON. You get to know more about the Women's AFCON and the local issues, the Division 1 League, the Ghana Premier League, and the local stories. The Black Stars looking to have that friendly match against Brazil. It's in the pipeline, just as the Black Queens as well, looking at that upcoming friendly against the English national team. That's the Lionesses of England. And so if you want more of these content, catch Pitchside with Ivan Squanza for all the exclusive local stories, on sports, on Pitchside, on Sports 101 channel on YouTube. Kofi is here with me. Kofi, how are you doing?
Yeah,
it's a rainy Thursday morning.
Yeah, it's a rainy Thursday morning, and everything is crisp and fine. You understand? And on Monday we did a song for Amorim.
Yes.
And then yesterday the area boys were thinking about composing a song for Arne Slot. You understand? So they are not done with the song yet, but I think I can give you some snippets. You understand?
Oh, you give me snippets. Did you direct the music?
Mose mo pe slot na mwenya. Mose mo pe slot na mwenya. Se mo hwe na mo mpeni jebiowa embedi echi o. So they are almost done with the composition. I'm sure by the time we come again, exclusive. So I'm sure by the time we are back on Monday, we would have finished composing the song, and then we'll give the fine lines to all of the viewers and the listeners. You understand? But it's a rainy Thursday morning, and it promises to be an interesting show. Yeah.
That's for the Liverpool fans, and a lot of you are very, very impatient. Top of that list is our good old boss, Pius. Very, very impatient. He was here with us during the week. And Mr. Pius Hayford is a very restless man at the moment. All the noise is made on social media. Now he's calling for the head of slot. And with all the Liverpool fans, he's not saying he should be sacked.
He should sack himself.
Well, good morning to Pius. Good morning to all the Liverpool fans that made a lot of noise. Let us know in the comment section what you think as a Liverpool fan. Should Liverpool be looking at terminating his contract? Should he look at moving on? Let's get right into that, Kofi, because he's talked about the fact that he made excuses about, the squad depth. He mentioned that Manchester City yesterday played with practically an entirely different 11, and, it didn't look any much of a difference. But he makes 3 changes and is left with only teenagers on the bench.
So he's trying to say that he doesn't have.
He's trying to say that he doesn't have squad depth.
No,
maybe injury crisis.
The issue with Slot is that I think that he's intentionally trying to get himself fired. Because some of the comments that he made yesterday, they were sackable comments. You understand? Because look, all throughout the world, in the off season, nobody made the most transfers more than Liverpool did. No team. Liverpool spent in the north of 400 million pounds. You understand? So at the end of the day, you have looked at the squad that you have. You understand? You have looked at all of the resources available to you, and you have decided that, listen, we are going to augment with XYZ. And then the owners backed you. They backed you accordingly. Yeah. Whatever player that you demanded for, the owners have given it to you. So what comments did he seek to make? I think that, look, I've always told people on this show that the English league is a very brutal league. Very brutal league. Unforgiving. And the funny thing is that when you are going through a crisis, it has a way of magnifying the crisis that you are going through, and Liverpool are going through that patch right now. So you do not seem to catch a break. Now you jump from the league to the Carabao Cup, and all of a sudden there's Crystal Palace there. Everybody jumps there. Now everybody is coming back to the league again, and then next week you get to face Real Madrid, and then you come back to the league and all of that. I mean, so you don't seem to catch a break. So I think that in the mind of Slot, he is trying to, as it were, tone down on the excesses that are being directed at him right now. But the truth is that he has nobody to blame by himself for everything that Liverpool are going through. If indeed the people at the top sanctioned those purchases based on his inputs, based on the kind of football that he wants to play with Liverpool, based on the ideology that he has establishing with Liverpool, then come on, nobody has any excuse to offer for Arne Slot. I don't think that he has an excuse, and saying all of the things that he wanted to say yesterday, I thought that those were absolutely sackable comments.
Liverpool have Villa on Saturday. When we get into the Premier League, we'll preview that match. They have Real Madrid on Tuesday. Yes. No, they have Real Madrid on Tuesday. Yes, and then a week later or next weekend they go away to Manchester City.
Crucifixion.
Villa on the rise.
Crucifixion.
And then you're playing against Real Madrid, and then you're going away to City.
Look, Villa beat City over the weekend.
Yes.
And so if there is a team that you do not want to face now, it has to be Aston Villa. And the truth of the matter is that the Villa coach is a much better manager than Arne Slot. I do not know how you people see a lot of things, but the truth is that Arne Slot is a bang average manager. Bang average. I always say that for a manager who Eric Ten Hag was destroying in the Eredivisie, week in, week out, I mean, you do not put him on certain pedestals that I do not think he is. You understand? So, look, Villa is going to be an interesting ground. Real Madrid are Real Madrid, coming off the back of beating Barcelona, and then you get to face Real Madrid in the Champions League, and then you get to go to Man City. Those three fixtures, they are fixtures that potentially could define the future of Arne Slot. If he loses all of those fixtures, I think the people at the top will pull the trigger.
Well, the comments have already started coming in. Shawes is saying that he's been waiting. Yes, we are live. So tell a friend to tell a friend, share the link, and then let them know that we are live on YouTube, Sports 101 channel on YouTube. Rans 1510 says, why are you not posting on TikTok anymore? Yes, this could get someone fired, and that has to do with Django Adam, Jeff. He is responsible for that, but don't worry, the post will resume. We had some technical issues with the TikTok channel. It's been recovered, and we'll be back posting on TikTok starting today. So don't worry about that. Also, let me get more of the comments. It says that, please, do you have any WhatsApp group I could join for updates? Yes.
Yo, share the link.
The WhatsApp group, the link will be posted here in the comment section, so you can follow that and join the group on WhatsApp. Shower says that the song for Slot, though, yes, it's in the pipeline. Kofi will give us the full rendition. Very soon, we'll get the area boys in the studio, so we'll give you a studio rendition of that Slot song with a brilliant, soundtrack. Making it really, really nice.
Yeah.
He's a music director, so he knows how to get all that done. Isabella Edu says that he lives for times like this. Is set to give up. Okay. Slot no or a fake. That's coming from Benjamin and Yuma. And Isabella comes back to say that he needs more time to adjust, just like any other coach. They should remember he is a family man. For someone that just won the league, I don't know what other adjustment that he needs. Emmanuel says that Slot no be correct. He's talking about squad depth. Really, after spending those huge bucks, did he really need to even sign Isak for that amount? Not to talk about Toyota Vitz. He's not serious. Slotters. That's from Lyrics. Blame Mateta and Arsenal for all this, for all the hype this guy got. I get where Lyrics is coming from. Yes. Why didn't he churn out these excuses when last season was booming for him, or he has amnesia? Villa will stink more venom to this wobbling Liverpool team, and I'm happy Newcastle cashed out on Isak. Lots of comments already coming through concerning Liverpool and Arne Slot. Yesterday, Crystal Palace made it 3 out of 3 against Liverpool so far this season. They've beaten Liverpool in the Community Shield. Yeah. They've beaten Liverpool in the league and beaten Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. And there are reports that is it Sa?
Yeah,
he has a personal vendetta against Liverpool because there was a time Sadio Mane actually recommended him to Liverpool, and it was laughed off. And so he's always had something to prove against this Liverpool side. But let's go into other stories. We'll come back to Liverpool when we get into previewing the games for the Premier League this weekend. So you're not yet off the hook, Liverpool fans. Yesterday, there were games in the Carabao Cup, same as on Tuesday. So let me run by some of the results that we had on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Yesterday, Chelsea had a scare against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was a really, really, really interesting game as Chelsea went away to the Molineux and won by 4 goals to 3. That game was really, really exciting. Wolves didn't really start well. We saw Chelsea, take the lead in that game. Andre Santos, Tyreek George getting goals. Estevao, at some point, Chelsea were up by 3 goals to 0. And well, Tolu Arokodare came back and then got he pulled one back for Chelsea, for Wolverhampton, and then they got a second goal, and that red card. Delap came back into the Chelsea squad and he was shown red, double yellow card. Very, very silly of him, especially the second yellow card, and he was given his marching orders. It was a scare for Chelsea yesterday. You might say that they didn't, have the full complement of their squad or whatever it is, but a lot of these guys play week in, week out, and Gittins, Estevao, these two guys got goals. Lavia came in, a champion. He's been starting off late for Chelsea, but you see how the game panned out, and now Chelsea. I think they'll be playing against. I know Arsenal is playing Palace. I'll get you the fixtures for the quarterfinal, but Chelsea are in the quarterfinal now.
Play against Cardiff.
They are going away to Cardiff. Yes. So Chelsea going away to Cardiff City. But your overview of that Chelsea game yesterday.
We all of this scandal about the Turkish football and referees being involved. I think that they need to start investigating Chelsea. I think that Chelsea are involved in some sort of shady deals with all of these red cards they get lately.
You think it's intentional?
Yeah, I don't know. We spoke about the basketball and Terry Rozier and then Chauncey Billups and some of the things that I've read further stories about Terry Rozier and then how he gave an insider some tip-off that he was going to leave the game after 13 minutes, and the guy sold it for $100,000. You understand? Later joined the guy, went to his house, counted the money together, and gave the guy a share. You understand? So I think that Chelsea need to be investigated because some of these red cards that they've had lately, they are a bit suspicious. You understand? So that is just by the side notes, but I've always held that notion that to manage a team properly, you need to let discipline run through the whole unit of the team. And it looks like now Chelsea are ill-disciplined. They do not have any iota of discipline running through their veins, and then players come onto the pitch and behave in the manner they want to. Because look, the yellow card and the subsequent yellow card by Delap, totally unwarranted. And then you talk about the depth of squad. Now it means that it will be carried over to some of the competitions that you get to play. You understand? So you have a player who is very important in their four. And
going away to Tottenham.
Yes, and Chelsea are a bit lightweight up front. So you have only João Pedro in that role. There's no Kopama. We all know that if João Pedro gets somebody playing ahead of him, he can drop in that number 10 role. That was the number 10 role that he played, I think, with Wolves and did very well. You understand? So he can play in that number 10 role. And so if you're Delap, you're thinking of coming in, slotting in at the number 9 and let João Pedro play in the number 10, because we've already spoken about the fact that Chelsea do not seem to have a lot of creatives going forward, so that you bring a lot more flexibility to the team. But this is somebody who comes in just one game after a long injury, gets 2 silly yellow cards, and then you impair the fortunes of the team going forward. I think that is quite problematic for me. You understand? And I think that Chelsea really and Maresca need to watch the discipline that is being channeled all across the channels in the spine of the Chelsea team. Yeah. They really need to take a critical look at some of these things. I do not think it is mere coincidence that all of these things are happening. I am thinking, and this is just a conspiracy theory, I'm thinking that there's something bigger at stake. There's something happening in the background that we are probably not seeing. But that said, it was a good game between Wolves and Chelsea. Chelsea were very much in a comfortable position, but they let themselves go through all of the roller coaster moments in the final quarters of the game. But that said, the most important thing is that they get to qualify over the course of 90 minutes, get to cross over to the other side, get to meet Cardiff City. And I think that it should be all fair and fine going forward.
Well, talking about squad depth, Arsenal showed what it means to have squad depth. Yeah. They made 10 changes to the side that won over the weekend in that game against Brighton, and then they got a 2-0 win. Kepa was back in goal. There was Ben White, there was Mosquera, Nkapie, Lewis Kelly, a totally different back four. In midfield, they brought in Merino and Norgard. And there was Max Dorman, there was Ethan Nwaneri, there was Eberechi Eze and Andre Anus. Eze was the only one who started that game over the weekend. 10 changes.
Well, I have always said that Arsenal have the best squad in the whole of the Premier League. They do have the best squad. I mean, in any position, Arsenal has almost a reliable deputy for all of the positions that they get to field on the field of play. And so, not too surprising. It's the reason why I think that a lot more pressure is being put on the shoulders of Mikel Arteta this time around. Because, look, if you look at the quality that runs through the whole of the Arsenal squad, if you're a manager, you do not have any excuse but to deliver. And for me, watching them play with their second units primarily, and looking at the quality, look, Mikel Merino is an established Spanish international. Yeah. When he goes to Spain, he's first 11 material. You understand? Yeah. And then you get to have the comforts of, but he's not playing because they are the likes of the Rices, they are the likes of the what's the name of the others? Odegaard, and then the Spanish boy Zubimendi. You understand? So you look at all of the quality that runs through the channels for Arsenal. I think that realistically, Arsenal with this kind of squad should be gunning for a treble. Because they have the level of quality, they have the level of quality throughout the ranks. I mean, look, Liverpool would die for a back four like this. Skelly, there's White, there's Mosquera, and then there's somebody else. You understand? So I think that yeah. I mean, look. I look at the Arsenal squad and I think that genuinely, if they do not win any sort of laurel this season, it's going to be a long summer for Mikel Arteta, because he does have a lot of quality.
Well, that's the Carabao Cup. We will get into Premier League action for the games over the weekend. So we'll get back into talking about Arsenal and Liverpool, because there are games over the weekend. But for now, Turkey is in the news. There's Vinícius Jr. in the news as well. And so we'll take a quick turnaround. When we get back, we'll get into all that conversation and much more.
Okay. With the text this is here. Oh, okay. Martin, best send this is here. Okay, Martin. Best send. Namo on set inter.
Well, welcome back. This is
They
still
do
Sports
YouTube.
101 here on YouTube, and Lucky has
They
joined
do
us,
live, yeah.
and he will be getting into the conversation with us. Well, for those of you who've been asking about Lucky, he has been, he will tell us by himself where he's been. I have an idea what he's been doing, but he's put on some weight, so you can understand some of what Lucky's been doing behind the scenes. But let's get straight into the issue of betting. Now, I'm just going to give you a preview of the story that has been trending in the past couple of days, in the past 3 days, concerning betting issues in Turkey. Turkey Football Federation actually says that it will launch disciplinary proceedings after hundreds of professional match officials were found to have betting accounts. Now, a 5-year investigation found that 371 of 571 match officials have accounts, with 152 of those actively gambling. Now, while some had only bet once, 42 had bet on more than 1,000 football matches,
That's right.
with one official found to have placed 18,222 bets. So, speaking to a media conference in Istanbul, the president of the Turkish Football Federation, TFF, Ibrahim Ethem, he says that he didn't name the officials, but he says the list included 7 referees and 15 assistant referees from Turkey's top 2 divisions, as well as 36 classified referees and 94 assistants from level below. Now, that's just a premise of what we're going to be discussing. This is Turkey. Obviously, there is no smoke without fire, as they say. Mourinho has come out to make similar comments about football in Turkey. We are seeing some evidence from the Turkish angle, because now they've been able to pinpoint the number of bets and even how many bets a particular official has made. It gives us that feeling that it's not just Turkey. You mentioned the whole Chelsea issue, you mentioned the footballers themselves and match officials. Lucky, what is your overview of this entire betting issue? You always catch me off guard, so good morning.
Very good morning to our viewers and those that are listening to us. For me, I've always held the belief that FIFA and UEFA have themselves to be blamed, or the various federations have themselves to be blamed for what is happening in football or even in sports, or the various controlling bodies have themselves to be blamed, because the very moment they opened up slots for betting companies to associate themselves with football clubs, football entities, or even sporting entities, clearly you're opening yourself up for some of these excesses. As they say, if you go to the farm and fetch firewood that is infested with ants, or that is infested with bees, or expect that there will be an outcome. And these are some of the things that we are seeing. I think that somewhere last week, 2 weeks ago, we saw what happened in the NBA, where the FBI, after years of investigation, finally came out to say, listen, there is a serious gambling ring going on. There's a serious mafia, Italian mafia, the Gambinos, the Bonassis, all involved in mafia. As a result, players have been compromised, coaches have been compromised, officials have been compromised. And we're seeing the implications also in football. And like you said, it's not just Turkey, Sammy. It's in England, it's in Spain, it's in Italy, it's everywhere. It's just that maybe the various federations have not taken it seriously. They know. We saw we read about the Paqueta issue.
Yeah.
There have been lots of issues, even in the Premier League. You think that this league is one of the well-run or well-organized leagues. You can't allow these companies to be involved in sport and not expect these things. Players will get greedy, match officials will get greedy. The only thing is that you try your possible best to mitigate the issue with some of the rules you set up. But then, are there rules that will ensure that we try and curb these things? Some say there are, but it's difficult to identify them. And like you put out, this Turkish issue is taking them years
5
because you need to properly conduct, investigation. The FBI took them over 10 years. It's something they were working in collaboration with the NBA to properly ensure that no, we actually have a case, because it's very difficult, very, very difficult. If I'm a player, if I am, let's say, Eze, I can easily, tell my friends that, Charlie, this game, I'll go for a yellow card. Bet on me to go for a yellow card. And I'll go in for some crazy tackle, that would earn me a yellow card. And my close guys will chop some money. So it's so hard
Very
to control
easy.
it. Very, very easy for people to get involved, but very difficult to clamp down on it. But then again, it boils down to the very moment FIFA, UEFA, the various sporting bodies open the door for betting companies to be associated with
But
football.
they bring in a lot of money.
They do bring in a lot. That's why I said, Nigerians have this proverb. If you go to the farm to bring in firewood, infested firewood, expect that either you have ants or some of these things in the house. That's the perks that come with it. They bring in, we have Sporty sponsoring Madrid and other things. I was telling somebody about, there was a game, I'm in a group, and the guys were complaining bitterly that no, this game, it was in Turkey, Besiktas against one of these teams, bottom teams, and Besiktas scored very, very early. I think around in the 15th minute, and the guys were saying why is Sky and all of that. Then in the 87th minute, Besiktas scores an own goal. In the 89th minute, they concede a goal, the team wins. It was crazy. And it happened in Turkey. And it's not just Turkey, it's happening. One of the guys said, I think about 2 years ago, that he saw something in Greece. He said he would never bet on teams in Greece. Since then, he's not, because it's happening. It's so easy. Some of these big teams we so-called think that they are clean, are not clean. They are not clean because they are benefiting from the proceeds. Imagine the people behind some of these things. At the end of the week, you're getting 2 million, 3 million US dollars, 3 million euros. You think you don't need money? Everybody needs money. So it all boils down to what are the measures these clubs or these sporting agencies, the FAs, the bigger bodies, UEFA, CAF, CONCACAF, FIFA, will put in place to try and mitigate the issue, because trust me, they can't eradicate it, they can't stop it. The players are involved, the match officials are involved, and I think that this should be like a clarion call for the various FAs that no, I think we need to do a serious forensic audit on the game. If it's going to take us 5 years, like it's taking Turkey, if it's going to take 10 years, 15 years, like it's taking the FBI, let's bid our time and rate some of these miscreants, albeit we can't take them out totally, but let's bid our time, because when they do a proper forensic audit, some of your favorite referees have multiple accounts, like the Turkish report came out to say. They have multiple accounts, because you don't know. They can create, it's phone numbers, it's emails. They can create emails, they can have phone numbers, and they will be betting on games that even they are officiating. Oh, I'll give 2 yellow cards in this game. So bet on how many yellow cards to actually occur in this game. I guess a typical example before Kofi comes in, the NBA issue, the Terry Rozier issue. I mean, the guy told his friends, his colleagues, his cousins, his relatives that this game, at the time he was playing for the Miami Heat, I'm going under this particular a point. So let's say if it's under 20 points, so bet Terry Rozier under 20 points. And I saw some of the videos, and it was horrific. Some of the balls he was giving away and all of that. It was so clear that no, there's something wrong. So that's how easy it is to imagine. I'm a football player. I could tell the guy say, Kofi Sami, Charlie, this game, bet on me, yellow card. I'll go in for one crazy tackle that will earn me a yellow card. I could even say, bet on me, red card. Maybe not this week, but I'll create scenarios that would not be so obvious. Maybe this week I'll take a yellow card. The following week I'll take a yellow card. Then it will give the impression that, oh, this guy goes into hard tackles. The following week I'll take a red card. Then you guys will win money. We'll share the money. That's how easy it is. So it's a good thing for the Turkish Federation, but it's a serious issue for FIFA, UEFA, and the various FAs to deal with, because, like I said, it will be difficult to read this thing off. But they will have to start somewhere. A serious forensic audit will be the best option. Go back 10 years. Start doing proper forensic audit, and you start to realize that some of these, your favorite players, your favorite referees, have serious betting accounts. They bet on games that they officiated in. But it's good news for the Turkish Federation. At least now they know that this thing is happening. But for the Panthers out there, they know that, okay, now we can't actually say, oh, this is a sure bet, because somebody somewhere could turn things around. Sorry.
Well, good morning to Apostle. Good morning to Cordelio. Good morning to all the guys in the Sports 101 WhatsApp group. Let's know what you think. Let's know what you think of the conversation that we are having, Benjamin and all our friends in that group. Let's know what you think on sports betting and football. And Kofi, this then, is it something that can actually be controlled? We've seen issues about some referees, even in the Premier League. Sandro Tonali got banned. So it means that these are things that are there, but just maybe his ban had to do with his personal decisions, he gambling and all of that. But as to whether or not these things are intentional to influence outcomes in games, in terms of yellow cards, in terms of fouls, in terms of results, or even it goes as high as the hierarchy in football, where some people actually make money off whatever results that their teams churn out. Is this something that can be controlled? Because they hide behind multiple accounts. So how do you control something that is difficult to investigate?
Well, I do not think you can control it totally. But the West is not like Africa, where you cannot do a lot of the things that we seemingly think cannot be done. Because when it comes to data and all of the things that are being exposed to, you are exposing yourself to, there's clear data to see who is involved. Yes, you can hide behind all of these pseudonyms and create accounts, all of that. But if they really want to find out who are the faces behind those accounts, they will find out, because something will be tied to you. You understand? The IP address, whatever it is. I mean, the tech people
In
can
this case,
tell you.
they need to go through the betting companies, because you open these accounts with these betting apps.
So it's a
the
third
betting-
party
yes,
thing. You
the
understand?
third party.
You
I
have to
get it.
go
Yeah,
through the
I
betting
get.
companies.
But
The proper
if you want to probably do a proper purging, you would probably have, Jeff is the attorney here, you would have to subpoena a lot of people. They would open their data privacy issues to you, and then you
Millions
get
of
to
betting
then you would have to do all of the things that you want to do, because you want to preserve the sanctity of the game. You want to live on the principles of fair play, on the principles of making sure that the game is pure. You understand? I think that, yes, you can allow betting companies to come and do their bets, but you do not need to let them affect the sanctity of the game. And sadly, the issue is that there are lots more people influencing the game than we think they are. They are not. You understand? They are people who are running behind the scenes and then influencing the outcome of games. Not just soccer, all across sports. Because it's so easy when you have all of these millions of dollars that these companies have hands on. You understand? It's so easy to influence people. And truth is that, if you went into the nitty-gritties of the whole issue, they do not really target the people at the high end. So they would hardly target Liverpool players, or they will hardly target Manchester. Maybe they can target Barcelona players because sometimes they don't get paid and all of that. You understand? Maybe they can tag all of those other people. You understand? But the point is simple. I think that the people who run the game need to get serious about preserving the sanctity of the game. And for me, I think when Jose Mourinho spoke about the fact that there's too much rot in Turkish football, a lot of people felt it was just sour grapes. You understand? Because of what he did with Fenerbahce and the fact that he spoke about the fact that you simply cannot go against the system in Turkey. There's Galatasaray, which is a major block there, and there are people who are making sure that Galatasaray are being champions every now and then. And honestly, if you have watched some of the Turkish games, you will not be too surprised the outcomes that we are hearing, because some of the decisions are very funny. Very funny. So I think that it's a wake up call to the people who into whose custody we have bequeathed the various football associations. You understand?
Yeah.
And the various competitions. I think that there are no slice on them to make sure that they preserve the integrity of the game.
Well, let's move on to Real Madrid. And talking about Real Madrid, Vinícius Jr., we saw what happened during the Clásico when he was subbed off. He didn't react well to that substitution. There's been reports that he has apologized to his teammates. He's apologized to the entire squad, the manager, for his behavior when he was substituted. There are also reports that Real Madrid might be considering a 200 million pound bid from Saudi Arabia for Vinícius Jr., and they are setting their sights on Manchester City's Erling Haaland. Let's look at that conversation. We've talked about the fact that player power versus coach, the coaching power, all of that in football. What exactly is going on at Real Madrid? There are also reports behind the scenes that some of the players are not happy about Xabi Alonso's management style, that he's too rigid and all of that. So let's look at all the reports coming from inside the camp of Real Madrid.
Look, Real Madrid is a proper club. Proper club. Run very well. Make sure that everybody is constantly whipped in line. So it doesn't matter who you are. At the end of the day, once you are not behaving according to the standards of the club, you need to be whipped in line. And make no mistake, Vinícius is a big boy. Top 10 best player, you understand? Top 10, one of the most best players in the world. Top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
He's not, in my opinion. At the moment,
Since when did
no.
Vinícius currently become a top 10? You are listing the top 10 best players in the world. Vinícius Jr. falls in that maybe 2 years ago.
Yes.
Since last season, Vinícius Jr. only had his best game in 2 seasons just over the weekend in El Clásico. Top 10
who is
players.
in the top 10 that Vinícius cannot accept?
Top 10 players, Vinícius Jr.
Who is in the top 10 that Vinícius cannot accept?
Erling Haaland is in
Come
there.
on.
Harry Kane is in
Come
there.
on.
Kylian Mbappe is in there. Pedri is in there. Hakimi is in there. Vitinha is in
Sammy,
there.
are you listening to
Mendes is in there. I've mentioned nine.
No, hold
I've
on.
mentioned
hold on,
nine.
Hold on.
Even with
hold
this
on,
nine,
hold
Sammy,
on, hold
continue.
On, hold on. How did Pedri become a
Sammy,
top 10 player in the
Sammy, even with this nine.
No, but I am
Let
asking
him
you,
continue.
how did Pedri become a top 10 player?
Even with this, I've given you nine.
Do you actually
I'm giving you nine, even on top of my head. Without even planning.
No,
Come
how
on,
did
Vinícius,
Pedri become a top 10 player in the world?
Currently.
What has Pedri done?
At last, the Mignon is even ahead of
Even ahead of
Junior.
this currently.
On the pitch, what we saw in the El Clásico.
That's what I'm saying. In
No,
2 seasons,
hold on.
this is the guy's best game he's
hold on.
produced in 2 seasons.
On the pitch, class is permanent.
Please.
Class is permanent. Class is permanent. Form is temporal. Maybe the likes of the Pedris, they had just form. You
I want to
understand?
take current top 10. We're talking about form.
I'm surprised.
We're not talking about class here. We're talking about.
So
we're
because
talking
you
about
did
form.
something great 2 years ago.
No,
we
but
still-
the
we still-
point is
we
that
still hail you.
how many players
He
are
come.
fit enough to lace the boots of Vinícius Jr.?
That's not the issue. That's not the.
That's the
not
point I'm making.
That's not the discussion.
Why you want to determine for
That's
me
not
what
the
I am
discussion.
making?
Vinícius
That's the point I am
can't even
making.
complete 90.
I
He
am
made
saying-
an emphatic
I
statement
am
that
saying-
currently he is one of the top 10 players in the world. This is pure in his own words. This is English. Currently, Vinícius is one of the, and on top of my, I gave you 9.
No,
and I'm sure
I'm asking you.
even mentioned.
No. I am asking you that. I am asking you that of the 9 that you have mentioned, how did Pedri become top 10 best player in the world?
I'm saying, by
categorization?
virtue of from last season through to this season, because at least the season started somewhere in August. Up to now,
Can I move on?
Vinícius had his best game in the Clásico over the week.
I am surprised you didn't mention Lamar. Yamal.
You see, there's some names that he needs.
I am surprised, and I am very happy he did it.
So,
I am very happy he
let
did
me
it.
add another one, Caicedo.
Let me
Let me add another one, Caicedo.
Let me move on and do
But you really
whatever.
think Vinícius is one of the top
I'm
10
down with
Oh,
it.
yes.
at the moment? in
Yes,
the world?
yes.
Is
I find-
Antoine Semenyo one of the top 10 best players currently on form?
You know, it's easy to play for Bournemouth.
No,
Is
that's
it?
not
No.
argument. It means that
No,
just
no.
Putting the
No,
players to the big teams.
It is easy to play
Oh,
and perform for Bournemouth.
is Vinícius Jr. currently
It is easy
is he currently playing better than Brandon?
Hold on.
Is he currently playing better than Mbeumo?
Hold on. Can you imagine Vinícius Jr. at Bournemouth?
Oh, please. That's not.
You
that's
think
not
you
that's-
think
that's
he will
not
not do more than Semenyo is doing?
That's not the discussion here.
I am telling you that imagine.
That's not the discussion.
Imagine.
Somebody,
So that's
somebody-
why I am telling you
So
that.
do you think that if Antoine Semenyo is doing what he's doing at Bournemouth, do you think
he cannot do
it
same
Real
at
Madrid?
United, at Real
We've
Madrid.
seen Semenyo in the Black Stars.
Oh, please.
Where there's a lot of pressure.
What?
We've seen
That's
Semenyo.
totally ball game.
No, I'm telling you that there are some players who do not function very well in a pressure cooker environment.
For Kofi to even
Look,
say Vinícius is among the
Bournemouth
top
is
10
Bournemouth.
best players in the
Even
world.
with the Black Stars.
Oh, please.
Semenyo is struggling to fit in. It's a conversation that we are not even having.
We know
We are comfortable.
we understand some of these dynamics.
Even as I sit here, names
We
are coming up. Julian Alvarez and all of
Kobe
these.
hasn't answered my question
All of
about
these
Brandon
names
Mbeumo.
are coming up, and I'm even
Is Mbeumo
surprised.
currently top 10 in the world?
No, he's not.
Is he? Is
Is
Mbeumo
he
currently better than
playing
Vinícius?
better than Vinícius?
No, he's not.
Oh,
He's not
please.
currently playing better than
No,
Vinícius.
he's not.
Whoa.
He's
Okay,
not.
so let's move on.
Well, he's
Yeah.
trying
I'll
to-
leave, I'll
he's-
leave that to the.
No, he's
Let his
He's
conscience
not.
judge him.
He's not. I mean, can you imagine Vinícius at Bournemouth?
Names are even coming
You
up.
score 100 goals.
Julian Alvarez.
You score 100 goals.
Moise Caicedo. Probably one of the best
Can
midfielders
you
in the
imagine
world.
Vinícius
Caicedo.
at Bournemouth?
Caicedo's name did not even come up.
If Semenyo is doing what he's doing at Bournemouth,
Sami
it's
Olise.
Bournemouth.
Olise.
You understand?
Olise
He's
at
not
Bayern.
Can I-
better than Olise.
Olise at Bayern. These names are not even coming
Can
up.
I-
Even
can
the
I-
current Lamine, Vinícius is not even better. than Lamine.
What's Yamada?
Vinicius.
He-
In 2 years.
Let
in
me
2 years,
let me
this is
move
his
on
best
to let me
game.
move
It's not
on.
like
To,
Bahat Kunkote.
let me move on to what I
And
want to
you
say.
coach Roku, and you fans Roku, and you be a
He's not
Pay
serious.
attention to what we're doing
I
on the
am
pitch.
saying
He's not
that.
serious.
I
Two
am
seasons
saying-
ago, he was solid. But last season and currently this season,
He's not serious.
I am saying that Real Madrid is a proper club, and for a talented elite player like Vinícius, many clubs probably would have struggled to whip him in line. And we are seeing shining examples across the divide. Look at what's happening at Barcelona. Look at what is happening at Barcelona. Look at all of the chaos happening at Barcelona with player power.
They're talking about Lamine Yamal.
Yes, everybody knows. It's well documented. It's out there in the public. Look. Tonamda. Look at what's happening with Yamal and Barcelona. And there are senior players in the dressing room who feel that Yamal has been ceded too much power. But this is Real Madrid. And Yamal is not a bigger player than you can say Vinícius. You get it? So Real Madrid is the reason they are the best club in the world. Is the reason they are the biggest club in the world. They do not care about the status of the player because Omwankasa Omwabobra Omoatonam, you understand? Look, who lets an 18-year-old misguided boy determine what the status quo of the club should be? But I am happy because when you do that, you give control back to the coach. And look, Alonso is a legend at Madrid. You understand? He's a legend at Madrid. And then he understands what it takes for a player to play at Madrid. He understands the culture of Real Madrid. And he understands the position of players in the club. So I am not too surprised what has happened. I mean, Vinícius walking away. And, you know, in the heat of the moment, let's not try to discard the conversation. You understand? I think that I understood Vinícius because he was playing very well. He was playing very well. And, you know, sometimes we think that these players are robots, but they are not robots. Every player who is playing very well and then knows that he can influence the game in one manner or the other, obviously would react in a manner close to that if he was taken off. Because I didn't feel it was justifiable taking him off. Because, look, when he was taken off and then Rodrigo was substituted in, you look at the impact of Rodrigo post the removal of Vinícius. It wasn't that influential like Vinícius was in the game. You understand? So you can understand his reaction. At least for me, I see that this is a guy who still has passion, who still wants to play for the club and do well for the club. He reacted that way, but maybe he channeled it wrongly. You understand? But all fair and square, he's come out to apologize. We move on.
Do you think Madrid should take that deal if it comes?
Well, if there's a president who understands the rudiments of running a football club better than anybody, it has to be Florentino Perez. And when it comes to Perez, he does not make decisions with emotions. I mean, look, when it was time to sell Ronaldo to Juventus, he did. Ronaldo is the best player to have played for Real Madrid. He did. In a flicker. You understand? So Perez understands the dynamics of these things. And the point is simple. 2 seasons ago, we were wondering who could be the next alpha male if Vinícius wasn't around. I mean, they have Kylian Mbappe, the best player in the world today. You understand? Or you doubt that also? Since you have a lot of problem doubting some of the tasks that I carry along, you doubt that Vinícius is the best player, Mbappe is the best player in the world today?
It's arguable.
It's arguable. You doubt that also?
Well, I'm not doubting. I'm saying it's arguable.
Okay, so I think that like he has no reputation in that regard. For him to mention Pedri as top 10 material, he doesn't have any reputation in that regard.
Like he also.
So Sammy, the one that mentions Vinícius.
So
I could go to Bayern and about 5 of Bayern's players are better than Vinícius. Just 5. I could go to PSG, about 5 of them are better. So that Chelsea alone, they can get about 3 of them who are currently better than Vinícius. That alone makes I'm almost about top 15. Vinícius is not in there. Anyway, that's not the topic for conversation. But Sammy, for me, this issue, I'll take it from 2 angles. First of all, let me focus on Vinícius. Well, this is not the first time Vinícius is doing this. For me, he's a sport of a pampered brat who thinks that he's it, but it's not it. For like you said, for 2 seasons now, Vinícius he's been nothing short but ordinary. Even last season, he was as poor as any player can get in the world. Very, very poor. Very, very poor. This season, he's not started the season very well. He only had his best game in 2 seasons over the weekend. Then he goes about throwing tantrums. Who are you? When Kylian Mbappe was substituted, did he throw tantrums? Kylian Mbappe, the face of Real Madrid, in a game he could have gotten a hat-trick, when he was substituted, did he throw tantrums? We've seen legends of the game get substituted and they walk onto the dugout quietly.
But
Yes,
it's an emotional game.
it's an emotional game, but that's where we
Especially when
always
you're playing well.
but that's where we always tell people learn emotional intelligence. everybody is emotional, but why do we propagate the narrative that emotional intelligence is very important? Learn when to react and when not to react. That is what would separate somebody who is sane from somebody who is not sane. You could make me upset right now, justifiably so, but will it be justified if I stab you? I've been emotional, but my action is terrible. That's the thing that's the point people are making. And this is not the first time.
It means we all of us here are very, very emotional.
Everybody is emotional.
Because you annoy all of us a lot.
Exactly. But how you react, Kofi annoys everybody a lot, but how you react, you take it.
Always react.
No, you take it with a pinch of salt. I don't always react.
No. Jeff is looking at you. Do you always react?
I don't always react.
Are you any different from Vinícius?
You see, that's the point.
I mean, you can tell your
that's
viewers
the point. You see,
why you were not in the show on Monday.
You should know when you pick your fight. You get it? You should know when you pick your fight. And so for me, Vinícius, like I said,
are you any different from Vinícius?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm not out there.
You were substituted.
Sammy, I am not. Sammy, I'm not.
I mean, you can corroborate the story. When you were substituted,
I'm not the highest, one of the highest paid players in the world. Am I? I don't have a doctor girlfriend, do I? I'm not always in the limelight, am I? Nobody knows me.
Who has a doctor girlfriend?
Vinícius, the girlfriend is a doctor. I'm not always in the news, am I? I'm not even in the news. Who knows me? But globally, everybody knows Vinícius Jr. That it comes with a weight of what? Responsibility. So he being Vinícius should learn at what point you could be angry in the dressing room when the game is over. Charlie Kochi, force crowd. Why you do this? I think I was about your best player on the pitch. Vent out your anger, but not when all the camera. And this is not the first time Vinícius has done that. Saying that he will walk away. I mean, the lip readers, and they gave us the things he said. He's going to walk away, and this is not the first time Madrid is doing this to him, and he's tired and all of that. That's like a baby. And so I think that, listen, and like Kofi said, I agree. When Florentino Perez knows that we are done, we've milked all that we can get from him, let's sell him. He will sell him. Maybe for now he thinks that we could manage the issue. So for me, whatever Vinícius is doing or has done, that is his attitude. That is the way he is. He thinks he's there, but he's not there yet. Sammy, what has he achieved apart from winning the Champions League with Real Madrid? What has he achieved in his career apart from winning the Champions League with Real Madrid? I could list a plethora of players who have won the Champions League. Do you know Barca's assistant goalkeeper, Pinto?
Yeah.
Do you know Pinto?
The one with the ponytail.
Exactly.
No, but how do you cite the same example?
I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you.
Pinto did not play any part in they winning the Champions League.
What do you mean by he did not play any part in they winning the Champions League?
What part did he
Pinto
play?
has won the Champions League.
We're talking about Vinícius Jr., who has won 2 Champions League with Real Madrid. He
has not done anything significant in world football.
In both finals.
What
warrants in the world today?
Throwing
what players in the world today
if there's a player,
anything significant?
If there's a player,
their national team.
If there's a player,
which teams?
If there's a player in the world today who deserves that right at Real Madrid to say I can throw tantrums anytime I get substituted, it's Kylian Mbappe.
What has he done with club football?
On the biggest of stage.
What has he done with club football?
I'm saying that if there's a player at Real Madrid,
done with club football.
If there's a player at Real Madrid,
if there's a player at Real Madrid, rating as Vinícius when it comes to club football.
If there's a player at Real Madrid who thinks, again I'm speaking English, who thinks he's big enough as a player to throw tantrums, it's Kylian Mbappe.
We talked about this at the start of the season when we were talking about who the poster boy is at Real Madrid, and we all agreed that for everything that Mbappe has accomplished, he still needs to prove why he should be respected in.
And he's done that. He's done that with ease.
What has he done?
No,
You see,
What has he done?
until you
What has he done?
win something
What has he
and
done with
play a
Madrid?
very active role
we
in
sit
winning
here-
that
done
trophy.
with
we sit
Madrid.
here.
I don't think he has
We sit
accomplished
here
anything
and
at Real
Madrid.
Madrid.
if we
Madrid.
throw
He's
out
in the process, but he hasn't.
Let's throw out a pool right now.
What has he done with Real
I'm
Madrid?
coming.
Tell us.
Let's throw out a pool.
We don't need any
Who
poll out there.
currently is the face of the Real Madrid team? Nobody would mention Vinícius Jr.
It doesn't matter.
But Vinícius Jr. has earned that
Simply
right.
put,
Exactly the point.
Respected in that dressing room.
Simply put, has Mbappe earned that right in the last 2 seasons?
What has he done?
He hasn't.
What has he
It
done?
brings me to something Thierry
What
Henry
has he
said.
done?
That
He may not have won. He may not have
until you
won.
win something
He may
and
not
play
have
an
won.
active role in that the
Sammy,
club winning that.
He may not have won the Champions League with Real Madrid yet, but currently, I think
No, but what has he even won with
Genuinely.
Madrid?
that's what I'm saying.
Has
He may not
Kylian
have
Mbappe
won.
won
He
anything
may not
with
have.
Real
He
Madrid?
may not have won the Champions
You know,
League, which is
Sammy,
arguably
Sammy,
the
Sammy,
biggest trophy
Sammy,
Real Madrid
Sammy,
was envisions
Sammy,
or
Sammy.
anytime the season
The
starts,
point is
they win.
simple. Vinícius Jr. has won everything there is to win in club football with Real Madrid.
True.
Yes.
What
But
has
you see,
Kylian Mbappe won
the
with Real
point
Madrid?
here is Vinícius may not have won. Kylian Mbappe may not have won.
Why? So Vinícius Jr. Kylian Mbappe won the World Cup with France.
I'm
And
coming.
so what?
Trophy A, B, C, D with
The best player in the
with
world,
Real
Ousmane
Madrid.
Dembele.
Yeah.
With
What
Real
has he
Madrid.
won with the French national
The
team? Was he
point-
part of the World Cup
The
winning
point
squad?
I'm making here is when it comes
So
to
what players in the world today have
When it
won
comes to
since he bought the club side and the
that's not the
teams?
course of the context of we are.
But you are telling me that look,
what I'm saying is, what I am saying
has not
is,
won anything in
what I
World
am
Cup.
saying
What
is,
are you saying?
What I'm saying is Vinícius Jr. put Vinícius Jr. side by side to Kylian Mbappe. Their weight as a player, both of them, put them on a scale right now and say, I close my eyes. Which of these two players would you purchase for 200 or 300 million pounds? Nobody
No,
would bid
that is
on
skewing-
Vinícius Jr.
that is skewing the
because
argument.
no, because
That is
he's
skewing
won
the-
something.
that is
Let-
skewing
I'm
the
completing my argument.
That is
Because he's
skewing
won
the
something with
argument.
Real Madrid. Nobody
The
would do
point
that.
here is that
Nobody.
Vinícius have a right to throw tantrums.
He doesn't.
You saying that if Kylian Mbappe did that,
He doesn't have a right to throw
He doesn't
tantrums
have-
at Real
Kylian
Madrid.
Mbappe did that.
At Real Madrid,
I'm
at
coming.
Real
If
Madrid.
Kylian Mbappe did
Yes.
that.
Are you
it's
serious?
understandable.
No, you are not
If
serious.
Mbappe
He doesn't.
is understandable.
You're not being
because of
serious
his
here.
I'll give you a
form.
typical example.
I'm coming. You're
I'll
saying
give Kobe a typical
Lucky,
example.
I'm coming.
If
You're
can-
saying
yes.
Mbappe is understandable because of his current form, but Vinícius, he doesn't have a right to do that. Now, if you put somebody like Mbappe and Luka Modric side by side, who is more respectable in terms of in the eye of the fans between both players?
Definitely Luka Modric.
Yes. If you put him side by side with Cristiano Ronaldo, you say Ronaldo.
Yeah.
If you put him side by side with Vinícius, why are you choosing Modric ahead of Mbappe? And then you think that Vinícius Jr. doesn't have a right to
you see,
react the way he reacts?
it's simple.
At Real
And
Madrid.
Real Madrid.
It's simple, and this is the reason why. And again, I said I'll give you a typical example. There was during Casillas' time at Real Madrid. Casillas is one of the most respected players at Real Madrid. Casillas said he had a bust up with Raúl González, who, sorry, at the time was the face of Real Madrid. But do you know why almost everybody at Real Madrid sided with Casillas, even though Raúl González was right at the time? According to Marca, the reason why they sided with Casillas was just because of Casillas' personality. Why to do obi on pekum and obi on pe confusion? Now for some reason, justifiably so, you have an issue with him. Oh, this Kofi is not like that, so let's cut Kofi some slack.
What I
But you
see,
see,
I don't get the examples
attitude.
you're citing.
I mean, you may not get it. Attitude is everything.
I
Character
get
is everything. So I started my premise by saying Vinícius has a track record of throwing tantrums at the least, the unnecessary things. And
but
I
he's
said,
earned the
this is
right.
not the first. This is not the first
earned the
time.
right.
So, oh geez, how many times did you see Luka Modric throw tantrums?
He's earned the right.
How many times did you see Raúl throw tantrums? How many times did you see Fernando Hierro throw tantrums?
Sammy, Sammy,
You see, it's not about
it's a conversation
I'm coming.
about.
We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo throw that.
So you see, it's not
Exactly.
about earning the right. Because
about
if it is about earning the right, Raul has earned more right than Vinicius has.
What did Raul do that Vinicius didn't do?
Oh, I don't want to go into even this argument. Fernando Hierro has earned more right than Vinícius Jr.
What did Raul do? that Vinicius didn't do?
Zinedine Zidane has earned more right. But how many times did you ever
Vinícius
see?
Jr. has won two Champions League
how many
with Real
times did you
Madrid
see?
in
How many
both
times-
finals.
how many
Scored
times
a
have
goal.
you-
You don't think he's a legend at the club?
You are an OG in football, so you saw Fernando Hierro play for Real Madrid for years. How many times did you see Fernando Hierro in those moments, or even Roberto Carlos in those moments, or even Zinedine Zidane, if the newbies or the Gen Z, in those moments, go out there throw tantrums. So
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no.
that
You know why that? You know why that's
let me finish
logic?
my
No,
point.
no, hold on,
The point here is the point here is
you know why that logic?
about
You know why
earning the right, because if it is about earning the right, there are a lot of players who have earned the right but have calmed down in situations when they could have played up.
You know why I am not buying that
You
school of
can
thought.
choose not to buy
Yeah,
it
no,
because
hold on, I'll tell you why I will not buy that school of
you-
thought. Who changes a centre back? Who changes a centre back?
This is one.
Who
This is
changes-
one.
No.
This is an argument you shouldn't
No,
make.
who changes a centre back?
Sammy,
No,
Sammy,
Oh,
how many players did I mention?
Can you let me finish?
We're talking
Can you
about
let me
statistics here.
finish?
I mentioned about 5
Can
players.
you let me finish?
You pull out one, and
Can
on
you
that
let me-
you want to build
can
an
you-
argument.
Let's
see my Fernando.
Can I
My
finish?
Fernando Hierro argument is flawed. We take him out. I mentioned the other 4. Raul,
So
Zidane. Should I go on?
Sammy.
Should I go on?
Can I?
Roberto
can I-
Carlos.
Can I
Why also
finish?
mention Cristiano Ronaldo?
Should I? So you see, if you guys are the mathematicians,
So-
in a
so
pool
Sammy,
of 10,
Sammy,
and you get 2,
Sammy,
would you base on
Sammy,
that 2 to make a
Sammy,
conclusion?
Sammy.
No, nobody does that.
You see, first of all, in your bid to demonize the player in the eyes of the viewing public, you do not cite some examples. Who cites Hierro? You know, Hierro and Helguera, they played together at the heart of the Real Madrid defense. Who changes their centre back?
Sammy,
Amorim changes his centre back every match.
Sammy.
Come on.
My point is, you
can
can
I-
choose
can I-
to
can
say,
I finish?
okay,
Can I- Lucky, you've been
no,
speaking for
no,
how many minutes?
I haven't said
Can I-
there are
can
2
I
sides to
finish?
it. No, because
Can I finish?
you interfered in what I'm saying. So, I mean, the other part is that again.
Also, you don't want me to make my point.
As for Vinicius's issue, is flawed. He's just an over-pampered, I'm sorry to use the word, brat who thinks he's all of that. He's not. He is not there yet. He better learn how to control his ego and play football, because he's not even in the top 15 best players in the world currently. Top 15. Currently, you are listing from 1 to 15 in order of priority, or in ascending or descending order, whatever order. Vinícius Jr. cannot be in the top 15 best players in the world. So he should take his time. He's had one good game in 2 seasons. Great. Maybe he can build upon that. But this is not the time to throw tantrums. The other bit too is, I think that, listen, managers should learn that the game is symbiotic in nature. And I've read reports where some of the players are not really excited about it, like you quoted, about how Xavi Alonso handles things in the dressing room. It's a thing with players who have played the game and are coaches. They feel, I've played the game, I've seen it. Like, you're seeing it from both angles. But I think the managers should learn that, listen, the game is symbiotic. You feed on the players, and the players feed on you. Pep Guardiola always says that he's who he is because of Lionel Messi. It's not that he's not a great football mind. He's not a good coach. He's just trying to tell you that if Messi, whatever he teaches Messi, if Messi does not deliver on the pitch, whatever he teaches is hogwash, is waste. And that's the truth. See, a teacher can be as great a teacher as he can be. But if the student does not give the production that is akin to whatever you've taught him, you are as useless as anything. So Xavi Alonso, yes, for now, he's one of the best minds out there, producing some good results with this Real Madrid team. But it's symbiotic in nature. If whatever you teach these boys, if these boys go out there and they disgrace themselves, nobody's going to sack Vinícius Jr. Nobody's going to sack Kylian Mbappe. You're the first person they will sack. We're sitting here saying that Arne Slot should be fired, not me. some Liverpool fans, because results have not gone their way. Nobody's even talking about players who are not performing well. So that's the first thing managers need to learn. It's not about, oh, I've played the game before, I'm now the coach, so I can see from both sides. No. Respect the emotions of the player, respect the deeds of the team. If you're putting out a decision, consult the team. I'm not saying he doesn't do that, but the reports that are coming out, again, I'm not the one to always feed on reports. Some of these things, they are there to sell. These tabloids are there to sell the news and all of that. They may not even be true. But if there is any truth to it, I think that both parties or managers should learn that it's not about I'm the manager. No, you can be one of the greatest managers in this world. If your players want to undo you, Sammy, you know, your players can undo you in one game. They will sack you after that game. Let all the players decide that this manager wants this manager to go. And Sammy, after 2 games, they will let you go. There's a way players can do that. So for whatever bust up he has with the manager or he has with his players or some of the players, I think it's not the best.
Can I come in here?
It's never the best.
Can I come here?
Yes, but I would like you to make this point.
We've spoken superficially. Which players have bust up with Xabi Alonso?
He's giving the example of Vinícius
And who again?
That's why I cited the example that if
I did not ask you a question.
I hope the reports are not true.
You know, Sammy, I think that you need to.
You know, the difference between live YouTube and live radio is I don't have a console in front of me. One can say any man can Ada my head.
So I still think I'm a bit scandalized by some of the thoughts that Lucky has shared this morning. I'm very scandalized.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very scandalized that you can put Vinícius on Mbappe on a higher pedestal in the context of Real Madrid over Vinícius.
That's not what I did.
You understand? I think that's a bit scandalous. Scandalous that Vinícius has not earned the right to do what he does at Real Madrid. Now, Kylian Mbappe. Okay, you've won the Pichichi. What have you done with Real Madrid? What has Kylian Mbappe done with Real Madrid? In the pantheon of greats at Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe is not fit to lace the boots of Vinícius. In the pantheon of greats, if Vinícius walks away today from Real Madrid, he's more a legend than Kylian Mbappe. So let's not try to oversimplify the issues that Kylian Mbappe is scoring goals. He's seemingly the face of Real Madrid. So he can look. If you sit here and tell me that what has Vinícius done with Real Madrid, for Real Madrid, the Champions League is everything, is their oxygen. He has led the team to 2 Champions League finals. In both finals, scored a goal. You do not speak ill of a player like that. Look, even the great Thierry Henry, he had to go to Barcelona, be part of a team to win the Champions League. You do not speak ill of Vinícius Jr. and what he's done with Real Madrid. In any case, if you try to oversimplify the issue and say that, oh, okay, what has he done with Brazil? How many players in the world today have achieved both with club and country? Sammy, maybe we need to be doing those arguments. Even Kylian Mbappe, what has he achieved with club? Kylian Mbappe. The only noise that we make, including myself, is that he's won the World Cup with France. End of story. Who cares what he did with Monaco and PSG? What did he do with club? Oh, okay, so you were in France and you were winning the Liga, week in, week out. You were winning year in, year out. Is that a story? Is that a story? Look, Sammy, if Kylian Mbappe does not win the Champions League with Real Madrid and does not play an active role in Real Madrid winning the Champions League, we'll be back to have a conversation. We'll be back to have another conversation. And then we'll try to dispel all of the conspiracy theorists. You understand? If Kylian Mbappe does not win a Champions League with Real Madrid, and if he does not play an active part in Real Madrid winning the Champions League, we'll be back to have a conversation.
So, I mean, in this world, the weight of trophies, would you rank the World Cup below the Champions League?
No.
Okay, can we go ahead?
What just happened here?
No, I'm just telling you that.
Sammy,
I'm just telling you that.
Sammy, what just happened here?
I'm just telling you that.
What just happened
Vinicius
here?
Jr. could win
What
20
just
Champions
happened
Leagues.
here?
Vinicius Jr. could win
What
20
just
Champions
happened
Leagues.
here?
Let both players retire.
What
Vinicius
just-
Jr. can win 20 Champions
just
Leagues.
happened here?
Let both players retire. And when we are talking about greats of the game, Kylian Mbappe will come ahead of Vinicius Jr. Ronaldo has never won the Champions League before. He never won the Champions League Barcelona when he won his first Ballon d'Or.
So in your head, Kylian Mbappe is a better player than Cristiano Ronaldo.
I'm not even talking about Cristiano.
No,
I'm talking about Luis Nazario de Lima.
I'm asking you a question. In
I'm
your
talking
head,
about,
in
Luis
your head,
Nazario de Lima.
empire logic. When Kylian Mbappe and Ronaldo retire,
Let me
Ronaldo does not win the World Cup. When Kylian Mbappe and Ronaldo retire, everybody will rate Kylian Mbappe ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo in your head, right?
Won two UEFA Cups. He didn't win the Champions League.
Conversation.
He comes to Real Madrid, just wins the league. He didn't win the Champions League. But as we speak now, the pantheon of the greats. Some people don't even know. Some people don't even know that he didn't even win the Champions League. He played for some of the big clubs in the world. Barcelona, Inter Milan when they were on form, came back to Spain, Real Madrid when they were on form. Remember that famous hat-trick he scored at Old Trafford when Vicente Del Bosque, after he scored the third goal, said that no, this can only be brains. At the time, Fabian Barthez was imposed. But nobody even remembers that he didn't win the Champions League.
I remember. If you don't remember that Ronaldo didn't win the Champions
No.
League, then you don't know.
No.
I've always told you that I think R9 is overrated. I've told you time and time again.
No, that's what you
That's
think.
my opinion.
Yes.
I think he's
So
overrated.
for me,
Lucky thinks that if
So for
Ronaldo
me-
does not win a World Cup,
So
and
for me,
retires,
do you know why?
you
Do you know
rate
why?
Kylian Mbappe ahead of Cristiano
Do you know
Ronaldo.
why? Do you know why?
Is that the points Lucky is
Yes, I'm
making?
answering. Do you know why? Till date, when the great argument come in, they always say, "Let him win the World Cup, then he can join that conversation." Finally,
Who?
let Ronaldo win the World Cup, then he can join that conversation.
I
Finally.
am asking you a point blank question.
No.
I am asking you a point blank. No. You cannot
I
hide
answered with a
behind.
question.
You cannot hide
I
behind
answered
that
with a
smoke
question.
screen.
Do you know why till date, when the conversation is so far straight amongst the intellectuals like we are, it all boils down to the fact that, okay, so all of us on a level playing ground, we've all achieved and all of that. There's one level playing ground that greatness is arguably seen. Come to the party on that level playing ground. And I listened to Paul Mason, I listened to Julien Laurent, I listened to Gab McCarthy. It was a very heated debate as to whether the GOAT conversation should be given to one person. It's a podcast. Yes, it was a podcast. We're together with that was your Italian friend you say you don't like. I've forgotten his name. And he said even if it should be given to one person. And at the end of the conversation, I mean, these guys are some of the respected, notable, minds out there. At the end of the conversation, there was a level playing ground, which is the Champions League. All of us have been there. But there's also another level playing ground that, for now, distinguishes player A from player B. And there's a reason why they always want to put Maradona and Pele in that conversation. Although these guys played in Europe, albeit, even though Pele did not do that, but Maradona played in Europe for Napoli. But the conversation is always centered around they are the greats, these two, arguably. I don't even want to talk about. Do you know why? Because of what they did on the world stage. Why would we even talk about Pele? Some of the goals Pele even scored, Crapo, you and I disagree. I don't even agree to that. So for me, I think that fine. These two, they are great players. But I think Vinícius should check his character.
But you know that when it comes to the world stage, that argument is skewed because people don't choose their national teams, and that's why it's just a handful of countries that have won the World
That's
Cup.
the sorry state of life.
It's a handful of teams.
Yeah,
that have
that's
won
the
World
sorry
Cup.
state of life.
And there are certain players that have won the World Cup that you don't even remember their names. So at the end of the day, it still boils down to your impact in the game. It's not necessarily about winning the World Cup. You could say that there are certain
that
players that if they
Why
had
didn't you allow
found
the
themselves
host to make his
in
point?
certain national teams, they would also have won the World Cup.
do you think genuinely
If
Ronaldo is justified
somebody
if he
like-
doesn't win the World Cup?
Oh yes, he is justified.
He's justified.
Yes, he's justified.
Ooh,
If
This
What
generation-
has
they
Portugal
this
won?
generation
They
of
What
are-
has Portugal won?
Portuguese
They are not
superstars
royals.
from the day he came into the team. At the time,
Sammy,
Luis
make your
Figo, he
point.
was very young at the
It's-
time.
it's always-
You
it's
think he's
almost
justified
level, yeah.
after all
there are
these
certain
years?
players that if they had found themselves in certain teams, they would struggle. Messi that we all hear out. If he had found himself in certain teams, if Messi was in the Black Stars, would he be anywhere close to the World Cup?
That's the irony of life.
Exactly. So you cannot generalize certain arguments. Kaká won the World Cup. He won the Champions League. Why are we not making a lot of noise about Kaká?
Who doesn't make a lot of
In
noise
terms of
about
that good
Kaká?
arguments that you were talking about,
That-
did we mention Kaká when we talk about?
I don't know. I wrote an article I put
So
on Facebook.
No, allow
no,
the guy
I'm
to
coming.
make
So
his
the
point.
point here is that when we are making some of this analysis, we look beyond some of these things. We look at the individual as a person, his talent, what he's brought to the game. When we talk about these players of old and all of that, maybe even Maldini, who was heralded, who has been heralded as, the
greatest centre-back of all time.
We saw what he did in the game. But do you even think this same Maldini in this same Italian national team, you think he'll be anywhere close to the World Cup?
That's
so
where-
sometimes it brings you to what is around you.
So-
where you find
That
yourself.
Maldini era had a lot of
Italy
quality,
are
yeah.
struggling to go to
So
the
Sammy,
World Cup now.
that's where I can't remember. It was about 3 years ago. I wrote an article. It's one of I'm not a Facebook person, but it's one of my most shared article on the GOAT conversation, where I think that no one individual merits the tag of the GOAT, and for me it is stretched because there are a lot of indices that can favor you and may not favor you. But you see, for whatever it is, that's the irony of we do not have a fair playing ground. Do you think that it is justifiable to have some of the teams play with the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City in the kind of condition we find ourselves? Bournemouth, financial wise, they can't even match up to them, but we all play in the same league. They expect us to win games or not win games. We all play in the same league. So the level playing field, or however they call it, the playing field has never been level, and that's the way it is. So whenever you're having a conversation where you know that the playing field has never been fair and has never been level, you need to skew at some point, because if that is the case, let's create a league for the top teams. Then we can say who is the best player in the league, because it can never be fair to a player like Semenyo when you are surrounded by the materials you are surrounded by. Then you comparing Semenyo to a player like Haaland. How do you expect Semenyo to even equal the number of goals Haaland is scoring, or even Kylian Mbappe is scoring? Then you expect a player like Semenyo to be in the conversation of the best player at the end of the season,
But
the
if you
Ballon
put
d'Or?
Semenyo-
No!
If you put Semenyo in that environment that makes Haaland thrive, would he deliver or not?
That's a hypothetical. Whether he's going to deliver, whether he's not going
So
to
that's
deliver.
the reason why you don't also generalize this.
So you see, but when we get to the point where we are forced to make a pick or choose one, then we are forced to create a balance point where all of us can be placed in the pool. Because as we speak, the field has never been level. Jeff knows it, you know it, I know it. It is never fair. It is never fair to a player like Danny Welbeck playing for Brighton, compare him to a player like what is it called, Mbeumo playing for United. It's never fair, because the materials there can never be the same. But we are forced to make a conversation. So I have never, for me, I don't subscribe to. You've never seen me, go into that conversation of the GOAT, because I don't think no one individual person deserves it. I have my preference. I love Messi. I have my preference. I love Messi. But to argue that he's the greatest of all time, I will not do that.
Anyway, guys, it's still Sports 101 here, and remember on Thursdays is Malibu, and Malibu is
Show me
Thursdays. Malibu, I told you the other time, is located just behind Antrak at the Takrady Harbour, and on Thursdays it is happy hour at Malibu, where from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. when you buy one, you get one free. You buy drinks, you buy water, whatever it is that you buy. You get one free at Malibu on Thursday. So make your way to Malibu today in a lovely ambience, lovely atmosphere there at Malibu. You can catch the games there on the weekends. Champions League nights, we are there to watch Champions League, and we'll be there next week to watch the Champions League matches. There's Liverpool against Real Madrid, right? Liverpool coming up against Real Madrid. That's a big one.
Ooh.
You can catch us there at Malibu to watch along with us. So make your way to Malibu. There's something every day of the week. But on Thursdays, being today, it is where you buy one and then you get one free drink, water, beer. It's happy hour from 8 to 10 p.m. at Malibu. Just go there and then let them know you're from the Sports 101 team. You get a lovely, lovely reception there. And I've told you about Nkunim phones, just adjacent to Bank of Africa, Takrady Market Circle, for your high-end phones, mid-range phones, everything you need. Low-budget phones, whatever your budget is, just go to Nkunim phones and talk to the lovely guys there and then the beautiful lady there. They will give you anything you want. With your budget, there's always something for you when it comes to your accessories, your chargers, your protectors, whatever it is you need when it comes to gadgets, when it comes to phones. Go to Nkunim phones at the Takrady Market Circle and you will get sorted out. It's time for weekend football. There's the Premier League, there's La Liga, there's the Italian Serie A, there's the Bundesliga as well. There are lots of games this weekend. We'll just get into the games thick and fast, starting with the English Premier League. Let me run by you the fixtures for this weekend after, what happened in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday and yesterday. At Brighton, Brighton will be hosting Leeds United. At Turf Moor, it will be Arsenal going away to Burnley. Crystal Palace will be playing home to Brentford. And Fulham would host Wolverhampton Wanderers. At the City Ground, it's Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. And at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 5:30 p.m., it is Tottenham versus Chelsea. And on Saturday, we end the day with Liverpool against Aston Villa at Anfield. And it's got to the point where the games are coming thick and fast. And whenever Liverpool have a game, then the Liverpool fans are nervous. And so West Ham United also host Newcastle United. Manchester City playing at home to Bournemouth. So let's start with the Premier League. Guys, your take or your pick of the weekend?
Liverpool is losing again.
They're playing home to Villa.
Yeah, they will lose again unless probably something happens. Liverpool is losing again.
What's that something that's supposed to happen?
Unless Villa decides that Unai Emery decides to, play soft. But if he decides to, be Unai Emery we've seen in the league against the big teams, Liverpool is losing again because I think the problems of Liverpool, we've enumerated them time and time again. They look very disjointed. They are low on confidence.
Every game.
They in the last 7 games, they've conceded at least 2 goals. For a club like Liverpool, is unacceptable. And for me, the signs are there. Huge cracks in the team. The attack doesn't look coordinated. The midfield looks unbalanced. As for the defense, we know the problems of the defense. And the manager is struggling. I don't know if you heard his post-match interview after the Carabao Cup. And he has a problem. Maybe Kofi can tell us what that problem is, but he really has a problem. For you to say, oh, look at the City bench. They didn't even play any of the players who started over the weekend. Yet these players that started for City yesterday they are starters in every team. I should tell you, you had an opportunity.
They spent more than everybody.
I'm scared. That's what I'm coming. You had the opportunity to spend over 250 million pounds, more than any club in Europe, not just in the Premier League. Liverpool are the biggest spenders this season in the world. They spent more than Real Madrid, spent more than any club in the world, and so you couldn't realize that. No, I need to shore up, my bench. And it's true. If Liverpool line up their first 11, they are done. They don't have quality coming off the bench. And
so they have the likes of Chiesa coming off the bench.
You think Chiesa is good enough? Which of the big teams? No. If Liverpool puts out their first 11, Ketike starts, Isak starts.
Gakpo starts. They
yes. So I'm telling you that if Liverpool puts out if they decide to put out their first 11, these players will start. And who are the players coming in? Who would come in for Isak? Who comes in for Ekitiki? Who comes in the middle to replace Gravenberch? In the defense, who is there? But truth be told, the team City put out yesterday is their second string team, albeit Duku, who starts all the time. But you see, because they recruited very well, you spent 250 million pounds. So for me, the wars of Liverpool is not over yet. The team needs to find a way to get results. The defense is not good, and with Aston Villa coming off from the bounce, beating Manchester City, which has become a yearly ritual, I think that they'll go into that game very confident, knowing that this Liverpool team is up for grabs. I quite remember very well when we had a show after the first game, Liverpool against Bournemouth. Kofi said, no, if any team decides to go at Liverpool, you are sure at getting a goal. And that's become the trend. Any team that dares to go at Liverpool. Arsenal did not dare to play Liverpool. They were very defensive on the day, decide to, call. But if any team decide to go at Liverpool, the team crumbles. So for me, Liverpool is losing again. Their best result will probably be a draw, even though they are playing at Anfield.
So Liverpool win or draw?
No. Aston Villa win or draw. So Liverpool lose or draw. I'm not saying that the bookie should go for it, but that's my honest opinion.
Is Liverpool losing again?
Well, I think they'll lose. I agree. I think they'll lose. Football is funny. When you go on a certain trajectory and then you do not have a lot of confidence running through the spine of the team, you become fragile psychologically. And we know football is a psychological game. And so I think that that's where Liverpool are. And look, the last team you would want to meet is Aston Villa, because Unai Emery is experienced. They're probably more experienced than a better manager than Arne Slot can ever be. You understand? And so I think that those are where the dynamics are. And, the issue also is that the key elements of Liverpool who are supposed to be carrying this team are not performing. They've lost form terribly. Salah,
Van Dijk.
Toyota Bates, you understand, Van Dijk, McAllister, they've lost form. And so the other issue is the manager. Will he play the players who are worth the while in this particular Liverpool
team? Players he put out there, or is it his tactics? What's different between how Klopp played and what he's doing now?
Well, there's much difference between how Klopp played and the way Slot played. Klopp liked to specialize on the intensity bit of the game. So Klopp's teams or Liverpool team was very intensive. They will hustle you off the ball. Look, they will not give you some free moments to enjoy. And so they were difficult to play against. They were difficult to play through. But you look at this Liverpool team, knowing close to zero intensity, they are not pressing, they are not working hard off the ball, not doing all the things that you expect them to be doing. I think that this Liverpool team is so easy to play against. So easy to play against. And that is primarily the difference between these two teams.
How lucky he's able to throw his integrity into the gutter when it comes to Barcelona, it's worrying. That's that's coming from Cordilio.
Who else would it come from? Good morning to Cordilio.
Well, Showers says that he can say that Benfica is also part of the scandal. That's the betting scandal. Otamendi did something earlier this season, and I still don't understand why he did that. Isabella says Vini is top 50 for this season, so he's not top 10. Lyric says that these betting issues, sometimes we can just say, because imagine first place AC Milan, who want to win the league, drawing at home to 20th place Pisa. Like, how? And Jeffrey also says that, you see, this whole rankings done with media houses, they are not credible. How do you tell me that Vini is not top 10 in the world today? So these are some of the comments coming through. Form is temporary, class is permanent. And Ike says that if class is permanent, works in this situation, why was Ronaldo not named in the top 10? Okay, so the argument is going on there on YouTube. Let's get back into the games. Chelsea go away to Tottenham in the Premier League. Spurs lost last night against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. But in the league, they are doing quite well.
They're doing very well in the league, and I think that that's probably the focus of Thomas Frank with this Spurs team. I think that for a club like Spurs, they would want to consistently be playing in the Champions League. I think if you look at the way he's trying to set this Spurs team up, he's looking at consistency in Europe, especially in the Champions League. They are now tasting the new format of the Champions League. They would want to stay in there. Honestly, if I were, Thomas Frank, I would definitely be focusing on, the Premier League. I forget about these competition. That for me, I think that they disrupt the tempo of the team. Players can get injured. And you saw yesterday, Joe Linton's tackle on Kudus. He could have easily broken his waist, And if Spurs have lost, Kudus, that probably will be the end of their season. It's going to be a big game. We see Chelsea. Chelsea has become an unpredictable team. You cannot predict the Chelsea that will show up. They showed up against Nottingham Forest. There are times when they will ghost against teams you expect them to do very well. They failed against, over the last weekend against, Sunderland. So you don't know which Chelsea team will show up. And if Maresca does not get his act right, he doesn't get his substitution right, I think that what undid him was his substitution and some of the players not playing very well. A player like, the Pedro Neto was very awful on the day. Some of the players that came on, the other defender, Tosin, very terrible on the day, So for Chelsea, it's about which team decides to show up. One day Chelsea is all brilliant, they look very, very strong, very difficult to beat. The next day Chelsea look very, very fragile at the back. One major problem with this Chelsea team is their defense. I've always said that any team that dares goes at Chelsea's defense, they always make mistakes. You saw the mistake they committed against Sunderland for that winning goal. Very, very comical, very, very kindergarten like. Two players all standing there waiting for Sunderland players to come for the pass to be delivered. Nobody does that. I saw their game against Bayern Munich and they committed several errors that led to goals. And that's the thing with this Chelsea team. Can Spurs punish them when some of these errors are committed? Or can Spurs, force them to make some of these errors, as they call them, unforced errors? Can they force them? And that's the other issue too as well. Spurs are trying to find their way. Thomas Frank is trying to put a team together. Richarlison, one of the worst strikers I've seen ever played a game. He doesn't look good. If some of the players come to the party, if Kudus comes to the party, if Sarr comes to the party, I think that Spurs can get something out of this game, especially when they are playing at home. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea go there and pull out the win, because Chelsea are noted for, doing the unthinkable when their backs against the wall.
Well, Kofi, finally, to wrap up, City are going to be playing home to Bournemouth after that loss over the weekend. We know that Arsenal are also playing away at Burnley. But Manchester United go to the City grounds, Nottingham Forest. Can they make it 4 out of 4?
We don't care who we are playing now. Just show up and be beaten. I'm talking about Manchester United. So I do not care if it's Nottingham or Barcelona or Real Madrid. They'll be beaten. Nottingham Forest will be beaten. Manchester United have come out of the doldrums. You understand? Where Manchester United was put, they have finally come out of the doldrums. And from this point, it's up for Manchester United.
We're going to keep this part of the video. Yeah, we're going to keep, yeah.
Well, in the La Liga, it is Atletico playing at home to Sevilla. There's Real Madrid against Valencia. Barcelona also at home to Elche. So these are some of the games that will be happening in the Spanish La Liga. Fiorentina play Lecce in the Italian Serie A. AC Milan against AS Roma, who won their game yesterday as well. And then there is also Udinese against Atalanta. Napoli play against Como. Very, very interesting game. Napoli against Como on Saturday. So it's been a great show here on Sports 101 live on YouTube with the guys. Kofi was here, Lucky was here. We would catch you on Monday morning for another episode of the morning show here on Sports 101. Thank you guys for joining us. Catch all our other videos on Facebook, on TikTok, And then let's continue the conversation there on our social media handles. And remember, the Fantasy Premier League is still on. The code is right there on the screen. Get your teams ready before the weekend round of matches as early as tomorrow. Make sure your teams are set for the Fantasy Premier League, as there's something to win at the end of the season for whoever gets that top spot. Until Monday, it's another. Eric Barnes. I hear Eric Barnes is also watching us live from wherever he is. Good morning to you. It's my big brother. And so catch us on Monday here on Sports 101 on YouTube. We'll bring you post-match analysis and then some of the other topics that we could not get into as a result of Lucky's lots of talking. We'll get to that on Monday here on Sports 101. You want to talk again?
I'm wondering how I can sign into my FPL. Because it looks like every time I have to sign in.
Put your phone in water.
Guys, we'll catch you on Monday. Have a great weekend.